Hello and welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. In this video, we're talking all about what it means to have a South Node in Virgo in your birth chart and a North Node in Pisces, because the South Node and the North Node are two of the most important aspects in your birth chart.
Hello, welcome back to Making Mindfulness Fun. My name is Gabi.
I'm Isabel.
We're here to help you live your purpose and be the hero of your story. So, in this video series, we're talking about North Nodes and South Nodes and what your North Node means as a path to growth.
So, we're going to cover really quick before we dive into what it means to have a South Node in Virgo specifically and what a North Node in Pisces is. What are the South Node and North Node in the first place? If you're new to your chart and you just pulled it up and it said you have a South Node in Virgo, you might not even know what that means.
Yeah, so before we dive into what it means to have a North Node in Pisces, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on what it means to have a North Node and South Node in general. So the North Node represents the mountains that you're here to climb or your path to growth, whereas the South Node tends to represent the things that we're good at, our gifts and our talents, but that which we tend to overuse. So generally speaking, I think of the South Node and the North Node like a seesaw, and so we tend to be putting all of our energy to one end of the seesaw and we don't create balance. And by stepping into our North Node and embracing the aspects that are generally, the aspects of our North Node are hard for us to embrace. They feel a little bit uncomfortable, and yet at the same time, when we take one small step into our North Node, it creates this energetic balance and cohesiveness in our energetic being that not only makes us feel like we're living in alignment with purpose and that we are working towards overcoming the challenges that are hardest for us, which is fulfilling in and of itself, but it also creates an energetic cohesiveness that often makes it so it's easier for us to manifest the things that we want in our life because our energetic field is in alignment.
And from a more spiritual background, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, but another aspect of the North and South Node is that your South Node is often referred to as your past life karma, the energy you mastered in your past life. And your North Node is the energy you're here to master in this lifetime. So either way, it's something that you overused at one point, and now you have to learn with your North Node how to embrace that in this lifetime, because it'll be a new and higher frequency for you to embody in this lifetime.
So let's dive into what it means to have a North Node in Virgo, a South Node, or North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. So since the South Node is in Virgo, this means the aspects of ourself that we overuse. And I think of, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Virgo is that they are the selfless servant, in a sense. They are very, very similar in a way to a Enneagram 1-2 or a 2-wing 1. They have a little bit of that energy. So there's this aspect of where they're constantly trying to do things perfectly for other people, or they're trying to appease the other people, or they're trying to help other people. And this can manifest in different ways depending on what house it's located in, where your South Node, what house it's located in your natal chart. But the person with the South Node in Virgo really has to step into the opposite aspect, where South Node in Virgo thinks that they are only useful as human beings, they're only valuable as human beings when they are living in service to other people, when they're appeasing other people, when they're giving to other people, giving their resources, their time, their energy, whatever it is. They believe that they have to give everything out there in order to be worthy and valuable of love. And so the opposite end of that is stepping into the Piscean aspect of just feeling into yourself, into your own body, and not constantly outsourcing all of your energy and resources to the external world, and drawing into yourself a little bit and realizing that you can serve others better when you're more in alignment with your own inner world, your inner emotional state, your energy.
Right. And one aspect of the South Node in Virgo and North Node in Pisces that I think is extremely powerful is that these people tend to be raised in childhood. They have one or more hypercritical parent. They'll have a parent in the household who makes them feel like they always have to either achieve or be perfect, be organized, and they have this belief that they're never enough unless they're going to work hard all the time, give to other people, follow a system, and be perfect. So they can have now, as they grow into adults, these people who are raised with hypercritical parents, karmically or coincidentally with a South Node in Virgo, now struggle with being hypercritical now. Virgo, after all, is an archetype not only of service, but they are very detail-oriented. I always say they see the bark and the details of the bark on the tree, not necessarily the whole forest or even the whole tree. So they are always looking for the details. They're very critical people. And this can show up two different ways, I've noticed, for the South Node in Virgo. they either externalize this critical nature and are hypercritical towards other people on accident because they're reflecting the programming they received in their childhood and taking on the behaviors of their parent unconsciously, being hypercritical towards other people, saying harsh things on accident, not coming across very compassionate and pathetic, and making people feel like they are never enough. Or the other end of the spectrum, the South Node in Virgo, who was raised with a hypercritical parent, will become hypercritical towards themselves and become very passive, where they're constantly hard on themselves for any failure and telling themselves, I am not enough, why am I not enough?
Yeah, these people can seem like they're actually, you wouldn't think these people are so highly critical because they're generally people who you could describe as people-pleasing, or just like the nice guy, nice girl, who they're always so nice to other people. They never criticize a person outside of them because there's just such a looming presence of their own hate. They hate that they criticize themselves, but they feel like they can't stop it, and they hate that criticism, and so they'll never, these people as parents would struggle to discipline or give any sort of feedback that people need constructive feedback about. So they might struggle at that end, but like she said, then there's the person who is very critical, who expresses all that critical externally so that they don't have to direct it towards themselves. One of the other things about a South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces, is that Virgo is all about the material world, and Pisces is all about the non-material world, the spiritual world, the energetic world. And so someone with a South Node in Virgo is going to have struggled to step into the higher levels of fulfillment that come with balance between material and non-material reality, because that we are energetic beings. We have to step into both to live in a sense of fulfillment in our lives. So the Virgo South Node tends to latch on to the material world, and it prevents them from stepping into their spiritual side, and this can often discourage them. It can make them feel like there's no hope. It can make them feel like they're not special, and it can make them feel like they're not valuable because they haven't stepped into this greater picture of realizing that you are put on earth for a reason, that there is a level of destiny or faith that you can have in the energetic world, in the quantum field, or in God, whatever you want to call it. And so instead, they're so focused on the material world, they can often get lost in the menial tasks, the menial routines, the microscopic details. Now remember, this is a gift. This is a gift. You may be using it in your career. People may love that you notice the small things about them. It helps you in all these areas of your life. But you have to remember to step out of that and step into this Piscean world of the daydreams, the mystical, the magical, because that's where amazing things happen in life too.
Right. And to add to that note that Gabi was saying on the South Node Virgo, always looking into the material world, and the Pisces being all about the spiritual side of life, people with the South Node in Virgo can end up, like she said earlier, overworking themselves very easily. They believe that the only thing that's valued is hard effort, and so these people get physically burnt out a lot. They definitely push their limits, and so if you have a South Node Virgo, North Node in Pisces, notice how restorative it can be to connect with the spiritual side of life, sit in nature, meditate. These are things that you might underestimate have value, but they can bring you value in the long run, because on the karmic level of, if you believe in reincarnation, you have a North Node in Pisces. You are destined to have a North Node in Pisces because you're here to teach people how to connect with the spiritual side of life, what it means and what it feels like to embody a frequency that is not only critical, but balanced with empathy, compassion, a dreaminess, imagination, something connected to a deeper layer of reality that goes beyond our five senses.
One of the other things to mention about people with the North Node in Pisces is that sometimes they tend to take on, in a sense, the negative qualities of Pisces, and that's just because they're on this axis. So even though you're in this end of the seesaw, you're still connected to this axis. And this axis, I would potentially describe as sensitivity. Virgo and Pisces are very sensitive people to getting their feelings hurt, into that self. That's why it's so hard on South Node and Virgo to have criticism and feel criticized, is because they're sensitive to that sense that they are not perfect and not enough. And so one of the things that I think people with North Node and Pisces struggle with is the feeling that they have to forgive people in the past. So they hold on to, the Virgo aspect of criticizing what went wrong in a relational situation, like what was wrong with the other person or what was wrong with them. And so when relationships go wrong, which is an inevitable part of life, when relationships have conflict, it can be hard for someone with a North Node in Pisces to step into that essentially unconditional love of being able to forgive someone, because the Virgo is so attached to the details and the fact that, well, this is what happened. The physical reality, this is what happened, this is what was wrong, this is what was morally wrong and right in that situation. And instead they have to embrace this more fairy tale like sense of forgiveness that is associated with the Piscean energy of just being like, hey, it happened for a reason. That's where spirituality comes in. Can you forgive yourself? You're on a field of unconditional love. Love is the nature of reality. You are already loved. No one can take it away from you. And this is going to be especially if your North and South Node axis falls into a relationship-based house. So if you have anything associated with second house, seventh house, fifth house, even eighth house, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you falls into that, that's gonna stand out a lot. So the last thing I want to cover before we finish this video is, if you have like we said in all of our North Node videos, it matters a lot where your North Node lies in your chart, in what house. You have to take that into account. But one thing I want to mention is, I know people who have North Nodes in Pisces in community-based houses, like 3rd house or 11th house. These are interesting houses. So whatever house your Pisces North Node lies in is the place where you have to embrace this energy. And so much of it is about embracing the fact that you have wild ideas. People with South Node Virgo tend to swing to this ironic extreme of they're so factual oriented and realism oriented, but then out of nowhere they'll bust out this crazy like random idea that doesn't even seem possible, like unicorns on the moon. And and that's extreme, but to an extent that is true, and how that's that Pisces North Node calling out that wants to be let out. And so the more you step into that, embrace those wild ideas, the more realistic they become. And all of a sudden you're merging the material world with the non-material world. And people with the North Node in Pisces actually have one of the most amazing capabilities to make the world magic, to make things that are magical real. Because if you can step into both, if you can bring your South Node together with your North Node, you can make the mystical seem possible.
So as a recap, if you have a North Node in Pisces, remember to feel more than think. Tap into your intuition, tap into your unconditional love, tap into your spiritual side, and surrender the inner critic. Notice when that inner critic comes up and let it go. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below and tell us how you have stepped more into your North Node in Pisces and moved away from your South Node in Virgo. What else are you struggling with as a South Node in Virgo? Leave a comment below and tell us, and we'll see how we can help you. And if you want more one-on-one help with actually stepping into your North Node, not just so that you're accumulating all this data and pondering it and just like, okay, what do I do now? Hit the link below to join our membership, Be the Hero, where I show up and Gabi show up every day to help you understand your personality type, overcome your limitations, and be a creator of your reality. I'm going to be talking so much about the North Nodes on there every day because it's so important and valuable to step into your North Node. So the link is below to join Be the Hero. And while you're down there, get the free birth chart workbook where I walk you through understanding the core parts of your unique energetic imprint in your birth chart so that you can not just reiterate your chart but understand it.
Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Namaste.